وعشق ما له آخر وأمجاد مسطرة ترى في أمسها الحاضر دبي زينة الدنيا وعشق ما له آخر وأمجاد مسطرة ترى في أمسها الحاضر تحييكم وتهديكم ورود العمر والخاطر فأهلا يا ضيوف دبي وسهلا في ربوع دبي يا سلام يا سلام يا سلام يا سلام يا سلام يا دبي يا سلام يا دبي يا سلام يا سلام يا سلام يا سلام يا سلام يا دبي.
أعزائي المشاهدين، أهلا وسهلا بكم من جديد مع برنامجكم الأسبوعي برنامج قصة. كما عودناكم في كل أسبوع نستضيف لكم خيرة من دولة الإمارات. قصة نجاح نشأت في الدولة. سيد معز, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
We are so lucky to be here in your company. Our team said to you, welcome in our program.
Thank you very much.
And we would like to know about yourself. Was Mr. Moiz when he finished his education at the first time and what he's doing at this point?
Where you are, Dubai is always in your heart. هلا يا كل هالعالم في دار تختصر عالم وقالب وصفها العالم.
Sure, why not? I'd like to start saying that I was born in Dubai at the Dubai Hospital in Al Mamza and 1985. Since then, my early education I started in a school called Al Salam private school. That was my kindergarten. I moved on to Dubai National School for my secondary education. I was there till the 8th grade and then I moved to another school in India, which is a school come university for our community. It's called Al Jamia Al Sayfiyya. I was studying there for 11 years, primarily focusing on the Arabic language, literature, Islamic history and Islamic fiqh, which is jurisprudence. I graduated there with a doctorate in 2008. Moved back in Dubai when the economic crisis, global crisis had just started. I came back thinking I'd join my father's business and I'd bring it up to the top. And when I came in, I found out the crisis had just struck. Everyone was reeling back and my father told me that this is not the right time to expand. My father is still into building materials, the construction industry, so it was a very bad time at that time for that particular industry. We have a second stationery business as well, office stationery. So my father asked me to manage that business and I was very fresh out of university. So he wanted me to learn the ropes, learn how business is done, learn how Dubai works. And I started that road. I was working on the stationery business for I think a year and a half when I found it very boring. It was very boring selling paper and pencils. I kept making cold calls to companies and going around, and I used to go out, deliver myself, sit in the pickup with the driver and go and deliver and make my customers happy. And then I thought that I wanted to do more, maybe import. I wanted recognition. So the reason my father never wanted me to join his business is that the business doesn't have a recognition or a loyalty of sorts.
وتهديكم ورود العمر والخاطر.
It's sort of a trading business where your client asks you for a commodity and you're selling it. There's no brand, there's no recognition, there's no customer loyalty of sorts. It's who's giving the best price at the best credit terms. And we've been preached by Our Holiness, Dr. Mufaddal Saifuddin, that we should work on moving our business towards cash and avoid credit because of the various issues with credit business. So he always wanted me to look into something new, and when I was bored with stationery, I told him I'm not interested anymore. And at that time there was a lot of things happening in the solar industry, and it caught my eye, and I really was very in awe with the whole industry and how clean power, renewable energy works. So he supported me. My father's always supported me my entire life. And we took a trip to Germany. There was an exhibition there in 2010, and we studied how solar works. I went into sort of deep research. I don't have an electrical engineering background, but yes, I did a lot of research. We went to China for another exhibition that year, and we visited a few factories, see how the whole solar panels works, how different products are made, and what we could bring in to the market here. At that time, I started small. I brought in some solar lights. We used to sell them, export them to Africa, and it didn't really turn around the way I wanted to. And wherever I went, I was asked for my credentials. Not having an engineering or electrical background, I was always told that, bring in someone who has credentials. I wasn't ready at that time. I was fairly young, and I didn't have the courage to hire someone very expensive and bring him in and go around with him. So that sort of took a pause, and at that time I found a new product which had been around for years. It's a therapeutic heat pack, and I really love the idea of how it helps people with their chronic pains, back, neck, knee pains, and I started developing designs. We created designs which would help control to the body, and it would help people with these kind of aches and pains. I created a brand called Quick Heat, and sorted out the packaging and everything when we started importing into Dubai. We sold them to some pharmacies, and our major sale was through kiosks in Dubai. All over Dubai we had a few kiosks. That went on for 2-3 years. It was doing well, and I came across a brand in Sweden called Happy Socks. I've always loved colorful socks, and at that time, around 2013, there wasn't much of a trend in Dubai, especially for colorful socks. You couldn't find them anywhere. It was normally black, white, or gray. And I thought it was a brilliant idea, and I thought it would sell like hotcakes in Dubai. I made a contract. I got an exclusivity agreement with the brand. I brought in the socks here. I opened kiosks and sort of pop-up stores in various malls across Dubai, Ibn Battuta, Dubai Mall, Dubai Festival City, Mercato, and it went on for around a couple of years. It didn't sell as well as I thought it would. My father kept telling me, go slow, go with wholesaling first and then start retailing. But I was very excited about the idea. I was very energetic, and as any novice or amateur would make mistakes, I did. And I can hopefully say now that I've learned from my mistakes, but I made a huge loss. I couldn't make up the rent, we couldn't break even, and at the end I gave away the distributorship. At that time I was in a way in a situation where I wasn't as settled as I wanted to be. My father was still the breadwinner. He'd almost turned 70, and I had that pressure on me on when I would actually be, earning the bread for the family and taking responsibility. And at that point in time, my sister, who's living in Pune in India, and her husband, they had come to Dubai. My brother-in-law has a carpet business in India by the name Rosetta. His brand is Rosetta. And he was in the industry since almost over 15 years. He started a company in Dubai a few years ago, and he was also looking for someone to manage that business. and he wanted to, you know, increase sales, etc., develop this this part of the world. So we came to an agreement, and I joined his company, and he was looking to further enhance that business and develop it. So we had a lot of discussions at that time. It was, I think, June 2015, and we came to an agreement, and I joined his business to help him. I had no knowledge of carpets, but I was interested in business, so I joined him. And as I started learning, he was a lot of help. He's sort of my role model for my business. Obviously, my father being my life role model, and I look up to him a lot in terms of business, because he's developed his brand from scratch, and I've always seen that, and that's something I've always wanted to do, and I kept trying to do that. So when he invited me in, I was very excited. So I joined him, and he taught me a lot about carpets. He was mainly into stock and sell, and they were doing a little bit of customized carpets as well at that time. And when I joined, I started learning about carpets. I started learning how they're made, the machine-made ones, the handmade ones, and where we import from, the sourcing, etc., and how to market, how things were doing, how inventory worked. I learned a lot in my 2 years with Rosetta. And I'd like to, since we're on interview, I'd like to especially thank my brother-in-law. His name is Ali Asghar Poonawala, and my sister Tasneem. I learned a lot from him, and I can say that what I've implemented in my business today is a lot from what I learned from him. And since then, I mean, 2 years later, around June 2017, we thought that it was time for me to move on my own. So I thought of a brand name called The Florist. The Florist is headquartered in the UK, and we're running a branch office here. And from what I'd learned in Rosetta, and what I was more passionate about, is the project part of it, where we were doing custom-made carpets. And I wanted to focus on that. And I started this business, and we've called it a bespoke bouquet of floors is our tagline. So we only want to do primarily bespoke flooring, custom-made flooring, special flooring for people and their needs. We're currently focusing on the hospitality industry, so mainly hotels, airports, retail outlets, and luxury villas, etc. And we're focusing on providing the service to the client. So the part of the service we provide is designing, sampling, making drawings, shop drawings to fulfill their needs. We show them what they're going to have on their floor beforehand, so they know exactly what they're getting, exactly the colors, exactly the design, and then so there's no surprises when they actually get the floor. And we've successfully completed quite a few hotels. We're currently doing 3 to 4 hotels on the Palm. We've done the Taj Exotic. We're doing the Hilton and Marriott. We've done the Taj JLT. We've supplied carpets for the JW Marriott Marquis on Business Bay, and quite a few hotels. We've done the Yotel Hotel, which is the first Yotel chain, the first of the Yotel chain in Dubai, and we're doing a lot of projects in the hospitality industry.
I want to go back when we finished the high school and going with the booming side. We talk about 2004 and 2008, this booming side in UAE. So this student, this powerful guy who wants to start his life, and everyone waiting to finish education, crisis come and we go to this life. How was this feeling for you, Mr. Moiz?
It was a little disheartening because, as you said, I was seeing 2005, 6, 7, all my friends did, most of my friends are a little older to me, So they had already joined business, or either their fathers, mostly all my friends had joined their father's businesses. They were all well settled, making a lot of money because everything was booming. No one cared about anything. They were just throwing money. People were making money on property. I have friends who've made millions on property. And I couldn't wait to come back. And unfortunately, maybe 6 months before I came back, the world fell. There was crisis all over. People were stuck. A lot of people weren't getting their money. Real estate had crashed. So many people who had invested, they had lost their money. Fortunately for us, we didn't lose a lot of money in real estate. My father is very cautious in that sense. So he believes in going slow and steady. So we invested into 2 properties. We made some money off one. We lost some money. So we kind of balanced it out at the end. So no win, no loss sort of a situation.
And who guided you to start your life after that? There is no chance, no opportunity to find the job that you want.
Well, as I had mentioned, our Holiness, Dr. Sayyidina Muhammad Burhanuddin at that time, and now he has now passed on, and Yarhamahullah, and his son, Dr. Sayyidina Mufaddal Saifuddin, they have always preached us on, as a community, pushed us and preached us towards doing business. It is said that out of your rizq, 9 parts are in business and 1 part is in the rest of the things. So as a community, as I'm a proud Dawoodi Bohra, we focus always on business. Most of our community are focused on business, and some people also say that it runs in our blood, which I think is pretty true. We all always want to do business, and no matter what the odds are, we are focused, and as it's said that where there is a will, there is a way. We focus and we try to achieve what could be difficult.
10 years working, then we start to build our main family, florist. Choosing employees, choosing our family, it's so hard. How did you choose this 14 or 15 employees, we can say?
When I started the business, one of my employees who's been with me since his first job, I would say. His name is Taha. He's been with me since now almost 7-8 years. He's been through all the different companies that I have formed. And the way I work is once we bring someone on board, there's a very low chance that they leave. So all the people that I have been with me for a long time. It takes me a long time. It's a long process for me to actually hire someone. A lot of recruitment companies get frustrated with me at times because I take longer to hire people. But I only hire people when I think they're absolutely right for the job. And it's very important. Every person that I interview, I tell them that more than all your performances, it's important for you to be able to part of the atmosphere of the company, to be able to gel with the employees. So if there's a friendly atmosphere within the company, you can perform. Everyone performs to their optimum and best. We have a very friendly atmosphere. Our sales team, we have sales meetings twice a week. And when they come in, that's like the entire team. We joke around, we sort of order things in, we eat together, we have fun, and obviously also the work part of it.
Mr. Moiz, in this community, in this multicultural country, the challenge is so high. Sheikh Mohammed, His Highness, saying, if we reach number 1, it's hard, but the hardest to stay on the same level. You can be unique between your challenger here because you are. When you ask me why you choose me, I told you they choose you because one of the best companies for who doing good in this country. So how you can keep going and always be in the top?
Well, one thing that I have learned from our rulers, especially His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, is that you have to go on no matter what. He is a true visionary, and Dubai, my father, he's been in Dubai almost 50 years now. He moved into Dubai in 1972. and he was there when it was just the Trucial States. Even UAE had not formed. So he has always told me of how a true visionary His Highness Sheikh Rashid, rahimahullah, how he was, and how now his son Sheikh Muhammad is. So we see how he deals with everything, all kinds of situations. As you can see, when the economic crisis came in, we thought everything was lost. People keep saying Dubai is a bubble, we're just waiting it to burst. A lot of people have their misgivings. But the people living in Dubai and who are seeing the rulers, the visionaries, on a daily basis on how they're ruling the country, they can see that it's just going forward. One after the other, there's always something to look forward to. 10 years ago or 7, 8 years ago, we were looking forward to 2020, and people kept thinking, after 2020, what next? Now today, we've been seeing since the past couple of weeks, I found out, now we're looking at 2040 as Dubai being the best city in the world. It's one of the best places to live in, to work in, to have fun in, and especially with the law itself, we're very comfortable and we're very relaxed in terms of there's barely any thefts happening, the safety that there is in Dubai. And the way things are moving, I think it would be, for me, it's the most ideal place to live in. As a Muslim, people talk a lot about the Western countries, US, Europe, etc. But as a Muslim, I feel that I get the best of the East and the West in Dubai. So you get all there is in the West, you get to enjoy everything in terms of the food, the retail outlets, the fun, and there's a prayer room everywhere, there's a mosque everywhere. So you're not away from your culture.
This community, now we are waiting for Expo. Expo, we prepare something in that area. Florists have any project in Expo area?
Yes, I was actually at the Expo site just yesterday. We're doing one of the pavilions there, the Pakistan pavilion. We have a scope of work there, and we're currently also working, although not awarded, I don't know if I can say this on my interview, but we're currently working on the Expo Tower as well, but we're not been awarded with that project yet. So hopefully, inshallah, we can get that project as well.
My Story, the book of Sheikh Muhammad, did you read it or hear about it?
I've heard about it. Unfortunately, not gotten the time yet to read about it. But I've heard about it. I've seen it in the bookstores.
Yeah.
And
His Highness was talking about 50 memories in his life. So, can you share for us one of your memories?
One of my memories?
Yeah.
Any of my life memories?
Let's keep going with you in the working life.
It's one of my memories and most cherished memories with the past Sayyidina, Dr. Sayyidina Muhammad Burhanuddin. I was lucky enough that he was here for a religious congregation a few years ago, around 20 years ago, I would think, or 15 to 20 years ago. I was very young at that time. I was 18, and I had not finished the university that I mentioned. He's the dean of that university, as in he has formed that university, Al-Jami'a As-Sayfiyya. I had finished 7 years. That is a total of 11 years, and 7 is sort of a point where you graduate, and then 8 to 11 is your post-graduation. So lesser people reach that level if they have enough grades. So I was very worried whether I would be able to complete or not, and I was lucky enough to host Sayyidina at our house. We did something we call a dhiyafa, and during that dhiyafa I asked him once or twice that please pray for me that I finish my course in Al-Jami'a. So he didn't respond at that time. So I thought that maybe he hadn't heard me the first time. So I asked once again. Even at that time I didn't get a response. Then I just let it be, thinking that maybe there's something to it. So he was at our house, and he had a meal there, and at the end he returned at our masjid where he lives. And at the end I was there, obviously, as you know, you bid farewell, and he was entered the elevator and he was going back to his room. And just before, I mean, probably 1 hour after I had requested this for him to, to do dua for me or pray for me, he, out of the blue, he just tells me that I will explain it to it in English, because he said it in our lisan al-da'wah that we call, that finish your course properly in Al-Jamia. And I was surprised. I was extremely in awe of how he would, remember this after so many things that had happened. And he told me that, finish it, just out of the blue. And that is something that has helped me throughout my life. I finished 11 years. And after that, every time that I feel disheartened, there's one thing I haven't mentioned to you is I have memorized the whole Quran. So I am Hafiz al-Quran. So there were a lot of points in time where I reached the 10th juz or the 15th juz, and I was like, I can't do more, I'm just too tired. And I would remember his words saying, finish. So it kept pushing me on, it kept motivating me, and I finished. And I hope to finish everything I start in life. So even in business, sometimes it happens when, you're doing some projects and the client is a little bit of a trouble and, they're asking for things that are impossible, and you feel, let's just give up and say no. And at that time, I remember these words, and it helps me finish what I started in the best way possible.
Let's go to construction. Let's go to the headache. Sometimes we talk about the project and after sales services, how we can manage it in our life.
Well, what we believe in is obviously give a quality product to the client. We believe in servicing the client in a way that they keep coming back. Now, we're fairly a new company in this market, but alhamdulillah, we've achieved quite a bit, and the relationships that we have now are enabling us to get a lot of repeated business. So anytime our client asks us for any snag work or any issues, we immediately send our team across and we sort the issues out for them. In terms of, let's say there's some stains on carpets, we try to help them remove them. We try doing some anti-stain treatments on them. If it's wooden flooring, we help with polishing. If it's, some stains that can't be removed, we offer to replace carpets at a discounted rate. If there's some issue that had happened because of our carpet, we offer to replace free of cost. Sometimes we give them air freight free of cost, or sometimes we give them the product free of cost. So it all depends, but our main motto is to make the client happy, because that's the only way. In Dubai, what I've learned all these years is everything is relationship. You could have the best product, the best price, but get zero sale if you don't have your relationships.
So you keep going always in relationship also with your employees.
Absolutely.
But for the businessman who don't have time for his family, how you build this relationship?
For my company or for my...
For your home.
For my home. Well, I try to reach home every day by 6 o'clock. It's very difficult, but I make it a point. I make a lot of... I'm a very analytical person, so I make a lot of lists, I make a lot of charts, etc. Every time I make sort of lists and I discuss with my wife that I need to do things with my children and make sure that I do one activity. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but I make sure that at least on the weekends I take my children out. If it's the winters, we make it a point, go for outings outdoors, either the beach or some trekking, cycling. And if it's hot weather, we do something indoors like amusement parks or the water parks. But I do try my best to spend time with my children. And I go crazy. I act childish myself with my children. I make them happy. They're daughters. They'll grow up very quickly. I know that. And there will be a time when I won't be able to have the same kind of fun I do right now.
So we always saying behind the businessman a woman. What we have to say for this woman?
Well, my wife, her name is Fatima. She's always encouraged me, and she's sort of been a backbone for everything that I have done, and she's taken away all the worries of the home so that I can focus on the business. So my children, as I said, my children also, they do Hifzul Quran. So one of the biggest issues that we face during the day is making them do Hifz. So she also is a Hafiza. She's finished her Quran. So she makes sure that the children, they do their Hifz, they finish their homework, they finish their classworks a lot, because now we have online classes. So she has to make sure she's there. She cooks a lot great food for us, and she makes the whole atmosphere homely. Also, I live with my parents. It's a cultural thing with us that we live with our parents. I think it's the same in the Arabic culture. So my mother also has been sort of a sunshine in my life. She's always encouraged me, pushed me, taken care of me. Even today, I'm 36 years old, but she still treats me as her young child, and makes sure I've taken my lunch, what she puts in my lunch, puts an extra orange or something special, and she takes care of me as well.
This is the first woman in your life, you say.
Absolutely.
And this is strong guy, the father, who always give us the advice. What we have to say for her?
My father has been a rock for me my entire life. I've always looked up to him. Although, with a father and son relationship, sometimes you can't just go and hug your father, because there's that little bit of hesitation. I felt a lot of times to go and hug him. I have. And he's always encouraged me since I was in school, in university. He's given me everything I wanted. I could say to a point that I'm spoiled a little. He's always made me happy, let me go wherever I've wanted. I've traveled a lot in the world. He's taken me a lot of places. When I started business, he's always encouraged me. He's never put any pressure on me in terms of, you're not earning. Why should I, take care of you? You're already an adult. So until just very recently, I've actually settled in my life where I'm getting a stable income and, making money in a proper way. He's always supported me. And never once has he said that, why should I be supporting you? So and he always advises me throughout. We have our conversation. Maybe we don't maybe get a chance to talk every day about business, but every few days, maybe every 3 or 4 days, we sit down, we talk about business. He advises me on how to move forward. And he's obviously the chairman of this company as well. He's my investor. And he advises on all the important decisions that we take for the company.
Our master, Allah rahimahullah, Dr. Sayyid Muhammad, and the leader now, Dr. Sayyid Mufaddal, what we have to say?
Well, as a Bohra, he is our leader, and we staunchly follow him throughout the way. It is a very integral part of our lives. From the time we wake up, when I leave the house, my mom tells me, even today, my mom tells me, have a look at his picture and then go. It's considered a sign of barakah.
Yeah.
So every step, every decision in our life, we take. Sometimes physically, we take his permission if we can. If we're changing houses, if I'm changing my office, if I'm starting a business, the name of my business, every single thing, that the name of my child is been given by His Holiness. So my name as well. So every step of our way, if possible, we directly take permission from him and ask his advice. At times when it's not, what I personally do is I close my eyes, I bring his surah, his picture in front of me, and I ask myself that if I do this, will it make him happy or will it make him unhappy? And I do what would make him happy. He's told us, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he has a saying, a hadith, that hubbul watani min al-iman. So he preaches us on that every time, that the meaning of hubbul watani min al-iman is the love of your country is part of your religion, part of your belief. So you have to be lawful and law-abiding citizens of the country you're living in. You have to always strive to do the best for the country that you're living in. And that is the teaching that we live on every day of our lives.
سيدنا إبراهيم عليه الصلاة والسلام, when he asked God, he said, قال ربي اجعل هذا البلد آمنا وارزق أهله من الثمرات. It means that he always talk about the peace and safe places. UAE, this peace and safe country, so I don't think we can find any place in the world same like this country. That's
Very
why
true.
the business grow.
Very true.
So what we have to say for you leaders and government for this peace and safe country?
Well, as I was born in Dubai, I can say some people ask me, I've learned how to speak Arabic. I speak Fusha, so I sometimes I'm shy of speaking. I don't know how to speak Ammiya. So sometimes I speak in Arabic with my clients, etc., with my colleagues, and they ask me, "Oh, you speak very good Arabic. Where are you from?" So I tend to say at times that أنا عربي القلب ولو كان الإنسي هندية. So by my heart and where I was born, I feel I am Arabi, and I've lived all my life in Dubai, and I've traveled a lot. I've traveled to almost every continent in the world, and I've not seen any place like Dubai. Nowhere as safe, nowhere as peace-loving, and the citizens, the locals, as we say here, they have welcomed us with open hands, and everywhere we go, we are seen with a smile. Especially, I'd like to point out the initiative about the happiness. There's a idara. I think there's an idara called the happiness the authority. So everywhere we go, we're treated and we're greeted with smiles. And as you said, the rulers are making sure that it's not just peace and safety, but it's greeting you and welcoming you with open hands and and with smiles. And that really takes away all the stress and all the worry that you have with business. In business there is always ups and downs, but when you see smiles around and when everyone is happy around, and you see there's everywhere you go, there's police vehicles patrolling, and you feel safe that yes, there is someone who's going to be taking care of me. So I would obviously, with every part of my body and my soul, I would thank the rulers of this country, especially the ruler of Dubai, where I live, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, for making this city the most comfortable and the best place that I have lived.